So around the 4th of July, we always talk about fireworks, and there's a 50% increase in firework-related deaths and injuries in 2020 compared to 2019.
I know, it feels like we always have this.
Pay attention.
Right, we always have this conversation, right? But clearly it's needed because someone's not listening. So 2/3 of those injuries happened around the 4th of July holiday, as always. So our 9 health expert, Dr. Kohli, joining us now, making sure we're safe this holiday season. It's important. I guess, first question, you would think fingers, but are there other body parts? Like, what are the body parts that are most at risk of being burned?
Most commonly, as you said, Alex, fingers and hands, but you also actually have a lot of exposure to your face and to your eyes. So we see a lot of injuries occurring on the face, the nose, the ears, and the eyes. So those are the most at-risk parts, as you might imagine.
So we know they're illegal, anything that leaves the ground in Colorado, but let's be honest, I mean, we're all dreading it. My dog's dreading it right now. He loses his mind. Every single night people are doing it this holiday weekend. If somebody is going to go out there and do something and risk getting a ticket, how do you protect yourself?
You have to do it safely. So I'm so glad you asked. So eye protection is a big, important thing. So if you're trying to light anything that, particularly anything that might explode or go up into the air, make sure you have some sort of eye protection. If you can take it so far as to protect your hands with, flame retardant gloves, that would be optimal.
Yep.
If you have your kids playing with the fireworks, holding the sparklers, make sure it's not more than one sparkler at a time. Make sure when you light the firework, you're not actually putting it in your hand and lighting it, which I've seen a lot of people do.
In their hand?
Mm-hmm. We had a patient come into the emergency room that tried to light it, and then it didn't light, so he added a little touch of alcohol to it and tried to relight it. And so those are things you should never do. If it doesn't light, it's a dud. Leave it alone. Do not approach it. Do not touch it. Do not try to relight it. Don't pour any kind of accelerant like alcohol on it to try to initiate it. So.
Guess that needs to be said, apparently. Well, here's a question, and I guess this, is not just when you have fireworks, but any sort of burn. How do you determine if this is, a first degree, second degree? Do I need to see medical attention because of this burn? How do you determine what's the easy stuff and what needs to be seen by a doctor?
So how big the burn is and how deep it goes really helps you sort of determine. So in terms of how deep it goes, if it's just superficial, which is usually just that kind of redness that we get on our skin, a little bit of pain, that's a superficial burn. If it starts to get deeper, you'll get blistering of the skin. If you have any exposed underlying tissues like muscle or tendons or anything like that, that is a really deep burn and that needs medical attention. And then in terms of the size, if it's bigger than the palm of your hand, that absolutely needs medical attention.
Yeah.
If it's anywhere in those high risk areas I talked about, the hands, the eyes, or the face, you actually have to get that assessed. You can't just say, oh, it was minor, let me leave it alone. And then afterwards, a few days later, if you notice any signs of infection, like streaking around it, you're starting to get a fever, then it could be a possibility that your skin's getting infected and that needs medical attention as well.
Okay, so because we have seen this and kids have gotten burns just touching hot things around the kitchen, what do you do in the immediate? Like, okay, you're going to go to the ER or whatever. Do you ice? Because I don't think you're supposed to put something directly on the skin.
You're not, and you're not even supposed to actually use ice. So you're supposed to remove the source, of course. That goes without saying. So whatever it is that's burning them, take it away right away, and then actually cool whatever the surface that's burned for 20 minutes under cool water, not ice cold, because you can actually cause paradoxical worsening of the burn by doing that. And then once you've cooled it, you sort of assess how bad the damage is. And then you don't put any ointments on it, which everybody has a tendency to put Vaseline or something. If you want to put a little topical antibiotic, you can, but usually it's best to just sort of let it breathe for the first day. And then you put a non-stick gauze on top of it. So nothing occlusive. You want it to breathe. So non-stick gauze to just sort of, keep it without rubbing against anything else.
Okay.
I learned a lot.
Me too. Yes. I know, same thing, because sadly we know this is going to happen. So.
Well, and with our kids especially, I feel like we have to protect them because their skin is thinner, and so it burns at lower temperatures. And of course, they don't really know what's dangerous. So we really got to look out for the little ones this year.
All right. Well, have a happy, safe 4th. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks, too. Dr. Kohli. If you want to responsibly just watch some fireworks and then, you take out all these concerns, several cities and towns are still organizing them. Text the word fireworks to 303-871-1491. We'll send you a link to the shows.